All right, this is Andy, and this is Grant Fritchey, the Scary DBA. What's your job at RedGate? I know you worked at RedGate.
RedGate Software. I am the product evangelist at RedGate Software.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great job title.
You get to go tell people how awesome RedGate Software is.
Absolutely.
And we're both speaking, that's why we have our green shirts on. We are at SQL Saturday Dublin,
Ireland.
That's why the shirts are green.
It's my first time in Ireland.
I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I know, it's kind of odd, isn't it? Emerald Isle or something like that.
It's also my first time in Ireland. I'm having a blast. I don't know.
Oh, are you going to go see the Book of Kells, which is right over there?
Right over there.
Yeah.
I know. And we're on this campus. I was reading some history about this. This place was built. It was, I think, an Augustinian monastery or something
really?
like that.
God,
back like in the
that.
1100s. You know what we were doing in the U.S. in the 1100s?
Digging up potatoes.
Yeah, hunting buffalo. Goodness gracious. So it's really cool to come to Europe because you have just so much more depth of history, I think, here. And then around the 1500s, the Queen established this as a Trinity College.
Oh.
It's been here that long.
Okay.
So again, there were actually Europeans in the U.S. back then. But they were Spanish.
Yeah.
And they were in Florida. So living down in Jacksonville, I learned about St. Augustine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just finished your presentation.
I did.
What did you talk about?
I talked on Query Store today. I got to talk nerd talk today. It was fun.
Nerd talk. So Grant's a DBA, and we were just having this conversation. We have the same conversation every time we meet, almost. But it's a really cool conversation, and I enjoyed it immensely. I don't know. I think Grant's just putting up with me. But why are we doing this podcast on a show on a Facebook page? This is a Facebook Live broadcast. Why are we doing this on a data science Facebook Live page? And as we talk about this, the foundation of data. A lot of those data is still stored in relational databases.
Oh, yeah.
SQL Server is a wildly popular relational database engine.
Oh, yeah.
New version coming out soon.
Yeehaw.
2017, yeah. Yeah, and some neat new features. You work for RedGate. RedGate updates every time. I'm sure when the CTPs come out,
we're updating as fast as we can.
Trying to keep up. But from the DBA's perspective, Grant, if there's something you could share with DBAs, especially in this age where the new shiny is data science, what would you tell a database administrator?
Wow. Well, the first thing I tell a database administrator is embrace the new science. Embrace the new shiny. I think the one thing I would say is you need to look at the most important thing you can do for yourself is look at and do you have a job or do you have a career? And if you have a career, that means that your job doesn't consist of doing the things that can be automated away.
Right.
So if your principal job is security and backups and, maybe a little query tuning, but primarily, your backups and restores and doing some data migration and stuff like that, you may want to look around a little bit because your job's going to get automated away. Now, that's not to say the DBA job's going to get automated away. I mean, we were talking about it, and it's like, if you got Hadoop inside the house, you got Postgres, you got pick MySQL. I mean, pick any of the systems.
Sure.
There's still going to be somebody who specializes on that stuff in such a way that they know the architecture better. They know they're going to be doing more detailed depth query tuning, structural tuning. They're going to be moving the data around. They're going to know where the data is. How there's this broader scope of data, and there's still going to be this person who's got a handle on it better than the next person.
Right.
That person, we can, like we said, we can call him Bob. We can call him a DBA.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't matter what we call him, but the job's still going to be there, but the job's shifting. And I would really be on top of that shift.
We mentioned
really be on top of that shift.
Yeah. Well, when we talk specifically about the backups and the restores and that sort of stuff, which has been the bread and butter. I mean, that's why companies invest in DBAs. They keep them around a lot because what they're trying to do, it's almost like insurance.
Right.
It's like, gosh, what do we do if something goes wrong? How do we get our systems back online and stuff? Well, if companies move to the cloud, and that's happening,
right?
It may not be happening as much as it's marketing is telling us that it's happening, but it's happening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And as that happens, where are the backups, Brad?
Backups are in the cloud, and the backups are automated in the cloud, and the recovery happens in the cloud from the backups.
Wow.
I mean, and it's For example, like you want to set up what we need you to do is we need you to sit down. We need you to create a data center, put our databases on it. Okay, get that? That's easy, right?
Sure,
next. Okay.
Right.
But then what I want you to do is I want you to set up a second data center someplace else. Let's actually set up two. I want one in India and I want one in Australia. Okay. So I want 3 data centers now.
Right.
So one here in Ireland, one in Australia, and one in India.
Yeah.
And I want you to get replication on those databases across all 3 of those data centers.
It would be awesome if I could do that sub-second too, right?
So I want all that done, and I would like to have it all done by the end of the day today. Can you get that? Can you take care of that for me?
I can't. Even now, I can't.
Unless you go on like Azure.
Yeah.
Put the databases in Azure SQL Database, and then you click a couple of mouse buttons, and guess what? You've got 2 different data centers in 2 different locations on the planet, and you're done.
That's crazy.
And it's.
Well, remember the days? Remember back in the day, it was time to stand up a new server. We clear the calendar for that weekend, right?
Oh, yeah.
Friday afternoon, you'd leave work a little early, go by the store, buy all the parts to build the server. Remember that?
Yeah.
And nowadays, you spend all weekend, installing the OS, installing the data services. And configuring all those connections and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And now, it takes several seconds, Grant, and dozens of clicks.
Well, or you're really smart and you're doing what Andre Kamen just was talking about, and you've got JSON files that are configuring everything, so it's no clicks at all.
No clicks.
And
I'm even behind on this. So yeah, you can do it it's an hour maybe of your time to set that up on Azure these days.
Yeah.
And I did say, I mean that. I can't. Me personally, no. But I've got people that work for me that.
But the thing is the job's not going away.
Yeah.
The job's shifting. So if you're chasing down data science and you're chasing down analysis and analytics, and if you're not, you're crazy. But if you're chasing that stuff down, you're going to keep working.
Oh yeah.
If you're chasing down DevOps, if you're looking at figuring out how to, my code is infrastructure. My infrastructure is code.
Right.
You're going to keep working. But if you're sitting there thinking like they need you to click next for your job,
that's
I got news.
We have an update. Not going to be able to do that much longer. So, and to be fair, I think those jobs will always be around. They'll always be on-premises databases.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still
big
people,
iron. There's a need for big iron.
Exactly. There's still COBOL developers that are employed and stuff like that. But if they become unemployed, how easy is it to find a job? Not as easy as it used to be. I can say that for certain.
Yeah.
And I hear Buck Woody talk about this, and you both of you have been talking about this for years, and it's not news anyone wants to hear.
Sure.
Your job market is shrinking.
Right.
Your security declining. Nobody wants to hear that.
Although it's not. I mean. It's only declining if you're letting it decline.
Well, it's a hard message to sell, but that's the thing. That's what both you and Buck have done, and I so admire y'all for doing it. Buck said years ago, he said, stop saying DBA. Start saying data professional. And I grabbed onto that. I was like, that's the message, right? Put that positive spin. Don't tell people you're lost and you're never coming home.
No.
Tell them, here's the way home. Here's the way to go. That's a much different message. And I love DBAs, Grant. I'm not a DBA, and Grant can vouch for me on that. He's heard some of the things I've said, and I've seen him in the audience shaking his head and going, "No, don't say that ever again, Andy. I love you, but you don't know what you're talking about." But true, I'm a database developer because before becoming a database person, I was a software developer.
Yeah,
so
me too.
That's where I came out that way, But you learned how to be a real DBA. You got the operational DBA experience. When you and I met, you were working for a company up in the Northeast.
Oh yeah.
I came to do some training up there, teaching the SSIS folks stuff. And I think if I remember right, you ran out of the room holding your ears and maybe weeping. I don't remember.
I wasn't weeping. He didn't have a camera then.
No, he didn't. Grant's actually very open. He understands, gets BI, he gets the DevOps part of this. And I love that message.
Huge.
I love the message that you're doing. And I think RedGate did good bringing on you, Steve Jones.
Thanks. We're pretty excited about it. I mean, and we're RedGate, we're just jazzed, right? I mean, or to use local language, we're chuffed.
Chuffed. I'd never heard that before.
Oh yeah. But
I would think you'd need some salve or something if you got chuffed. Sorry, bad jokes. Good thing this isn't live. Oh, it is live.
It is live. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
But y'all are chuffed. What are you chuffed over?
Well, I mean, the big thing we're chuffed over is DevOps. I mean, it's the whole concept of getting your databases deployed, getting your applications deployed, and getting it all done faster and safer. So it's not simply just like it's not like, oh, here, give the devs the keys to the kingdom and everything will be okay.
Right.
No, what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, like, and not trying to say, we're trying to show and behave, model the behavior of, look, we can do this all faster and safer.
Okay.
So not simply as safe as it used to be, but safer than it used to be.
Yeah.
More protected than it used to be, but faster at the same time.
Well, that's crazy talk
because
it's not like, Grant, that the data's all being encrypted on the disk and you're having to pay thousands of dollars in Bitcoin. Oh wait, no, that is happening.
It is happening. Yeah, no kidding.
So people are losing data, and not just that, people are carrying so much technical debt. And I'm a friend of RedGate, so kind of all cards on the table. I really love what they're doing, especially with database lifecycle management. And I've been a huge fan of SQL source control for a while. Most of my customers buy it. It may be because I tell them if they don't buy it, I can't help them. It could be that. I don't
might.
It's not really blackmail because it's good for them. SQL source control is awesome. But and most of the shops I walk into today, they're using RedGate SQL Tool Belt, which includes DLM now, which is a really good product. I'm super impressed with RedGate, not just because they hired my friend Grant and my other friend Steve, but they've always had that mindset, that mentality of let's help,
right?
Let's try and fix things. Let's try and make it better. And the DLM part's a hard sell. And I understand it. It's a different way of thinking from the traditional DBA. It's more developer-y thinking.
Yeah.
And you get that pushback, especially on DevOps. They see capital Dev and lowercase ops.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, that's what happens all the time. I mean, and when we tell them shift left, right? The whole concept of moving your production environment closer to your dev teams.
Right.
DBAs just it's like.
Well, I get it. I was like we both came from the developer world, so I'll speak for me. I was an evil developer. And the first time I got asked to jump in, are you evil? I can be. Well, you're scary. I can be evil. But the first time I got asked, could I do anything like a DBA role? This is the truth. My response was, sure. How hard is it to tell developers no? And I was joking, but it wasn't big of a joke. It wasn't a big of a stretch. It's kind of my experience at that point. But and I get it. And, DBAs, if I'm hiring a DBA, I want somebody who thinks like change is bad. I want that. But the typical developer mindset is, what can we change today?
Right, yeah.
God,
it's 9 a.m. I haven't changed something.
Yeah, So it's often, as will happen when people specialize, the developers know their field really, really well.
Right.
They do not understand the database. They know a little T-SQL. They don't understand the administrative parts of it. Even if they're doing everything right, and this is a big trap, they can introduce a change that adds just some subtle load or some locking.
Right.
And all of a sudden, because of all of the interaction between the databases that the DBAs live and breathe, all of that just comes crumbling down.
Right. But at the same time, business is moving quick. Right? I mean, and we've got we've got. Hell, if nothing else, we've got this analysis thing going on, right? We got got the data science guys coming in, and they need to have access to quite a lot of data in near real time, and all that stuff's going to be going on. So we've actually got to get stuff out the door.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not like the old days was like, well, okay, I got this 10,000 line script from you guys. I'll get back to you in 2 weeks after I've looked through it. Right. Read every line, validated that it does exactly the way we do everything, and then I'm going to, and then at the end of 2 weeks, I'm going to tell here's the things I want you to change. Then I'm going to review that stuff, and then about 4 weeks after that, we'll do a deployment. No,
not working today.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm. What I hear from even when I'm doing, because I do a lot of ETL work, and that's a big chunk. It turns out data integration's the big pole, the long pole, in data science. It's 50 to 80%, 50 to 90% of the job.
Wow.
I'm getting that same kind of pushback. That's right. They'll say, yeah, we understand that you think it's going to take 3 months to build this data quality cleansing loading process, but we need that about 2 months and 3 weeks quicker than that. Maybe a little quicker even than that.
Yeah. Why can't we have it this
afternoon? Can we have it
this
afternoon? That's right. We're going to watch. Can we get it after lunch? And, you know, my answer to that is these days especially is using business intelligence markup language. It's the same type of automation that you're seeing going on in the cloud. Probably the same thing Andre was talking about earlier. All of these JSON files with everything in it.
It was hardcore DevOps stuff. I mean,
nice.
He's doing stuff for an agency I cannot name in a government that I'm not going to bother naming. Just ask Andre, he'll tell you.
Cool.
But they're doing hardcore automation on stuff, and they're moving massive amounts of data. I mean, sick amounts of terabytes of data.
Wow.
And in and out for analysts and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're doing it all automated. And it's all PowerShell, JSON.
Wow.
All the stuff that a lot of the traditional DBA types are all going, no, we won't do that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Gonna have to learn. Well, at the very first episode of Data Driven, we interviewed Jen Underwood. So at the complete other end of the pipe, as the DBAs, as your field, and we asked Jen in that interview, what's the future of data science? She had a one-word answer. You know what it was?
No.
Automation.
Oh, really?
Automation.
Oh, wow.
And we're seeing it because it's the same sort of stuff that's going on, the same stuff you're talking about with DLM at RedGate, the same stuff Andre's talking about with using configuration files stored in JSON, which my friend Kevin Hazard, by the way, calls JSON hipster XML. I like that. That's pretty good description. But I like JSON. I even like it better than XML, mainly because I don't like XML at all.
Well, yes, you say,
there's that.
I hate XML.
Somebody sent me a 4 gig XML file once. I was like, what? I need to go up there and smack you in the face. But yeah, I love that whole idea. That the idea here is getting things done quicker.
Right.
And the cool part about this is it's not just the automation, Grant. You see this. Y'all do it with DLM. It's the tools that generate those JSON files. Yes. Those tools don't miss a copy and paste. They don't forget to update a connection string.
No.
They get everything right the first time.
Yeah, and every time.
Yeah,
over and over again.
And it's seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it's seconds now. Our example, right? Go buy the server, put things in.
Right.
We were like, that whole weekend was gone, man.
Right.
And
well,
we were there.
Not to mention you got to fly down to Australia and do it again.
So, yeah, I was walking through this with walking through some automation with a client not long ago. We were setting some stuff up.
Right.
And it was the same kind of deal, right? It's all cloud. And we set everything up in the cloud, and this was a younger person. And they were like, gosh, this is taking minutes. Like,
you're still sitting there kind of going, wow.
I had that moment, right? Yeah, exactly. I had that moment where I was like, back in my day.
Get off my lawn.
That's it. Anyway, it was a very interesting topic, Grant. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me here in Ireland. And
anytime.
All of our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this mini show. DataDriven.tv is the website. If you go to the Get in Touch link, you can become a data driver. We have a data drivers assemble. I do.
Ah, cool.
I'm not very creative, but that was pretty creative, I think. I think I just watched that movie, the Avengers movie.
The Avengers.
Yeah. Like those movies. Anyway, you can get in touch with us, become a data driver. Data drivers get access to who's going to be on our show every Tuesday. We release a new show at Tuesday midnight Eastern. And data drivers are the only people that get advance notice about who that person's going to be. Yeah. We're trying to add a little value, add a little mystique there. So great show coming up this Tuesday. And if you go to DataDriven.tv and contact.
Oh, I know.
Who's going to be on. I shared with it. Am I right?
It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a great show.
Oh my God, it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. So this Tuesday. So go become a data driver. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat soon.
Right.